All right, we're going to talk today about how the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic are, first of all, the same thing. If you're in G major, it's going to be equal to E minor. So that means our E minor blues licks are going to be my country. I'm going to say the most cliche blues lick or rock and roll lick could also be manipulated to be the most cliche country lick. I'm going to be in 12th position out of an E minor scale, E minor pentatonic, or E blues scale if you want to put the passing tone, whatever. Here's my E on the 4th string. Okay, that's my root. That's the sun. I'm in the key of E for this lick. I'm going to go right above me, which is really down, to the 3rd string, 14th fret. I'm going to pre-bend, pull off, and then hit the root. And I call that the rock and roll lick. And roll, triple-it-do, bucket of fish. Right? But it's a 16th note triplet, so it's super fast. And if this were my E minor pentatonic, that's where I could slide. So anywhere I can slide, I could bend. I could even hit this note here. Now I'm going to hit this with 2 because I'm going to go right back down. And fingering depends on where I've been and where I'm going. So instead of doing this slide and hitting that top note, slide back down, I'm going to do this with a bend. Earn it, 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 earn it. So it's just 2 different ways to do the Ernie lick. Yeah. It's kind of cool to keep this note going the whole time. I'm going to do a little pick and fingers thing. So I hit the pick with the 1 string. Something like that. That's a little fancier. We'll worry about that later on. But now I'm going to say we could also, all those licks are also a G lick. Because here's my G. And although this was my E minor pentatonic scale, the only thing that's making E minor is because I started on the E. If I start on G, this is a G major pentatonic. It's a G now. Coming out of this Hanson chord, this open G chord with my capo on. So here's my G, first finger. And now all my licks, I'm going to do the same licks, but just resolve to G instead of to the E. So I'm going to do this. Right, this is just going to G. So here I'm going to go. And that's really a little piece of a G chord right up here. I'm really going into the G major. You can go to that top note. Now I'm going to get those 2 notes here. But this note is really being bent, up to this note, so that really makes a G chord. I can get 1 note, I can get the top note, I can get both notes, do a double stop, I can do a triple stop. Bend, now I'm doing a double stop now. Bend, release, 1, 3, 1. And I can go down to that G there. Cool. That sounds like a G lick. That sounds like an E lick. So here's the E, here's the G. If you're on an E note, you go right above to start the rock and roll lick. Right above, a string above, which is this way. And if you're on the G, you just go a whole step above to do your bend. And that's bending from the root, the 2nd, it's bending into the 3rd, into a chord tone, which would make sense. Cool. So now I'm going to have to find G's and E's all over my neck. Let's start it here. Here's a G in the tippy top string. So if I go up a whole step, that's my country leg. Because I'm just bending this country roads. Alright. If I want the E lick, I go to this note. That's my E note. So here's E and here's G. Rock and roll, twang lick. I can't get the top string because I can't go So I'm not going to be able to get any more notes up here because I'm out of room. And that's the E. Second string, here is G. Now this position is going to be a little bit different in as much as here's my E, and it's not right on top of me like it was before, because now I have to use my second finger on E because of the tuning discrepancy. Has moved that string down, so I got to push it back up. So here is E, and the rock and roll lick is here. Pre-bend, release, I'm sorry, not pre-bend, release, pull off, and then, so I'm only hitting this lick, I'm really only hitting 2 notes. First and the last one. And it's just bump, boom. Cool. If I want to make that a country lick, there's my G, and now I can get the top note. I can go, it's almost like me going, by the way, that's my G major pentatonic with a super slide. And I can do this with bends. Cool. Double stops. That'll make it sound real country. Chicken picking. I'm hitting this with the pick, but then the top note I'm going to hit with my finger. So I'm just going to alternate between pick and fing. Let's get that real fast. You know, you can only play so fast with your pick, but now I can play almost twice as fast because I've got a different digit to use. It's called chicken picking. So that takes care of that position. Now this position we already did. This is back to, here's my third finger on E. The rock and roll lick is right above you. If your first finger's on G, you just up a whole step in a bend. Same bend, but now we can get to all the way to the tippy top string. Cool. Of course, we could also do that open. And that goes nicely right back into an open G chord. Now here, I'm not going to do 3 and 4. I'm probably going to do 2 and 4. Keep my pinky here. But if I had 3, I don't really have enough room to get in there and bend. That feels a little weird. That feels a little tight. So I'm going to do with 2. But now it's harder to bend with your 2, and it's just really hard to bend down there. So you're going to have to work even twice as hard. Do a little double stop. Once again, this note is going, that's the country roads note, and that's just really going right up into the G chord. Starts with an open G chord, and that's where that creep around would be. And I just kind of work down a G major pentatonic, which is the same as E minor. So here's some good blues licks in E. Okay, that was a terrible blues lick in E. Earn it, earn it, earn it, or bend. Earn it, earn it, earn it. Yep. So if I come back to these E's, this was a minor lick. If I come back to these G's, it was a major lick. G. E. Oh, cool. So that takes care of the 4th string. 5th string. Here's my E right here, and my G is here, first finger. So if I'm on the blues lick, if I want the rock and roll, E right above me. Yep. If I want the G lick, I go back to G. Cool. I could also, you know, I could. By the way, here's my G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic. Right. I could start on any place I want to. I could start on G, and then go up to do that lick. I could start on the A. I could start on B, D, E. start anywhere I want to out of this. I don't have to just... Cool. And if I go to this note, this is the rock and roll leg. This is pretty good for writing little riffs and stuff. Because you got that open string you can come down to if you want to. E. G. E. Cool, then that takes us to one more string, which would be the G note here and the E note here. So on the E, there's my rock and roll leg. And then on the G, let me go back to the G. I guess we had one more. We could have started where I very first started, I could have done an octave up here. That's E. That's G. E. G. Same thing down the octave. E. G. E. G. E. G. On the 9th fret, on the 8th fret, 14, 12. 14, 12. Open. 2. Open, 3rd string. Cool. E on the 7th fret. G on the 5th fret, 4th string. And then here. E on the 12. G on 10. 12. 10. So, well, I'll just put this last little thing on there. So if I'm in a G blues, what I can use a G major pentatonic, make it sort of sound twangy, kind of country blues. But at any moment, I could also use a G minor pentatonic. But for G minor, I would move it up to here, right? So here's going to be my rock and roll to a G lick, to a G note, versus before I was doing rock and roll to an E note. So now I'm in a different key. I'm going to use G minor. So I can use G major and sound all B.B. King. Sorry, there's a lot of minor in that too. But then I'm going to move up to G minor and make it sound darker. So on a blues, or for the most part, if you play on a major chord, you're supposed to play a major pentatonic, and you play a minor chord, you're supposed to play a minor pentatonic. But modern rock and roll, for the past 100 years or so, or even before rock and roll, because of the blues, we could use a minor pentatonic over the major chord. So for minor chords, you only have one option, play the minor pentatonic. But for major chords, you have two options. If you want to make it sound rough and dark and rock and roll or bluesy, use the minor pentatonic. Even though you might be playing G major, you can play a G minor scale, right? That's just blues did it. Even though everybody else in the band is playing major thirds, I'm going to be playing minor thirds. So if I play G major, I can do that. I could also play major, and it's going to make it sound more of a country blues.
Play E minor over to G major.
Yeah, the E minor is the G major, right? So you get to play two scales for major songs and only one scale for minor songs.
Wait, isn't it three? Oh, okay, E minor is the... Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I am not counting that E minor and G major pentatonic are the same thing.
Gotcha.
I'm saying if you're in the key of G, you can play a G minor, and that's going to make it sound dark and bluesy, or G major, and that's going to make it sound a little happier, twangier, country. But just learning this lick, realizing that is also a blues lick too. So this would be either E minor or G major. Cool. Okay, I'm also going to put this on this video. As I'm going to do a G major lick, and then I'm going to move it up a minor third and do a G minor lick. So here's my G major, right? Which is, of course, would be an E minor lick as well. but I'm in the key of G now, so it's not an E minor lick, it's a G major lick. If I took that up a minor third from wherever I am, but I don't resolve to this note, I resolve to the other note, to the minor note. This is a G minor lick. Here's my G. That's a rock and roll in G, where this is a happy G lick. This is a sad, dark G lick. Still resolving to G, but here, major pentatonic here, minor pentatonic. Then I go to the G here. If I start with my first finger, right, now I can use the top string, and I'm something like that. And I resolve to this G. Take that lick up a minor third, but resolve to this is G. So this is a G minor. This is G major. That's G major. And this is G minor. But there's a different root. Here's a G major lick starting with your first finger. With some double stops. Right? Move that up a minor third. Do you have to shout in my own damn house? Now that's a G. Here's the G. It's not on the third string anymore. It's on the fourth string now. Rock and roll. Right? G major. G minor. But come back to the G. I almost went to the B flat. So you get to anytime you find a G major lick, if you move it up 3 frets, it'll be a G minor lick. But don't resolve to the same note. Don't resolve to this note when you move it up. Resolve to this note, which is the same note as this G. As if that's not confusing enough. Awesome.